Have you ever set a weight loss goal and you do your first set of measurements, your first weigh in, you write it all out, you start where you're at, and obviously you're only weighing once a week, you're only doing your measurements once a week, which is another topic for another podcast episode. Suffice it to say, I've had coaching clients since I started professionally coaching in 2009 who base their entire emotional state for the day on the scale, and that's a bad place to be, but that's another topic. So back on this topic of setting a weight loss goal, you set this goal, you say that you're going to do it this time, and then by the time night comes on the first day or the second day, you're already cheating on yourself. So even if you do your weigh-in 7 days later, nothing has changed, or you might have gained weight because you're not actually sticking with the healthy eating plan that works for your body, that's worked for you in the past. Instead, you're cheating on yourself. What if it's all about looking for instant gratification? And what if that's a double-edged sword that is just not going to get you the weight loss that you want? Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. Today, this is episode number 179. The topic, instant gratification, the double-edged sword of weight loss. Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. This is episode number 179, and today we're going to talk about instant gratification and how it's a double-edged sword in weight loss. It can be a really big problem. And before we get started, I want you to know that I have had this problem, so I understand how frustrating it can be and how you can have the best of intentions with your weight loss goal, but then you keep sabotaging yourself with your cheating eating, looking for that instant gratification. I just want you to know that I totally get it. And the big problem is you can't stay in that pattern because then you're never going to end up getting to your goal weight. You know what I mean, Jean? So you gotta break free of that pattern. Before we get into that, if this is your first time tuning in, if you've never listened to any other episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, you have no idea who I am. My name is JoLynn Braley. I am the permanent weight loss coach who has inspired millions around the world since 2007 to lose weight and get fit through a mind-body holistic manner of weight loss. In 2009, I became a professional coach, and that's when I started to really start helping people on a deep level. Because when you get coaching, that's the fastest way to get from where you are to where you want to be. My coaching clients achieve struggle-free weight loss in 8 weeks or less. That's because I do the deep inner work with them, which is what is needed in order to change your mindset, to change your emotional state, to change your inner world so that you become thin on the inside. Believe it or not, you've got to become thin on the inside so that your thin behaviors on the outside will feel normal and natural. When you're fat on the inside, then on the outside, it's normal and natural to emotionally eat, binge eat, overeat, stay overweight, stay fat, stay frumpy. It's a match. This is actually a universal law. The inner and the outer always match. So if you really want to change, you've got to change your inside. You have to change how you're thinking, but you have to go deeper than that. You've got to change your beliefs. You've got to clean out those negative beliefs that are holding you back. There's deep work to do if you really want to release the struggle. If you're okay with the struggle, If it gives you something to do, which it does give a lot of people something to do, and they've gotten used to the back and forth, then you wouldn't want to actually heal the root of the problem. And whatever you choose to do, it's all up to you. That's the beauty of the fact that you have your own life to live, and it's all up to you. Just know that if you ever do really want to lose weight for good, it is possible. You really can do it. But you need more than a mainstream food diet to do it. You've got to address where these problems start, and they start within your mind. 92.8% of the problem is your mindset. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about this, grab my free download. You can get it at www.easyfunweightloss.com/ebook. easyfunweightloss.com/ebook. So this topic today of instant gratification being a double-edged sword in weight loss. See, one of the problems is, and if you've seen the image that I used for this podcast episode, it's a baby crying. When we want that instant gratification, we're acting just like our baby self. That's where we want what we want, and we want it right now. Wee! We got to have it right now. Wee! And to heck with everything else. So that's, fine. You could do that if you want. I have had this problem many times myself, giving into it, getting that instant gratification. And what I'm talking about is, eating the cake, eating the candy, eating the whatever, those foods that don't help you get to your goal weight, because they aren't going to be metabolized in your body in a clean, high octane fuel way. When you're eating clean, your body can burn off the fat pretty quickly. And when I say quickly, healthy weight loss is when you're dropping 1 to 2 pounds of fat per week. Real fat, not water, not muscle tone, but fat. So I'm all about doing this in a healthy, holistic way. And we're also, when I say thin, I don't mean getting thin and skinny and being all weak and bag of bones. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about going from a size 22 to a 6. If a size 6 is healthy, fit, and strong for you. It's crazy that I even have to qualify any of this, but there are some people who take things the wrong way. And actually, if that's you, you shouldn't even listen to my podcast. This is not the place for you. Today is not a Get Real episode, but I do monthly Get Real episodes, and those are a real turnoff to anybody who wants to continue to stay stuck and make excuses. So that's where I am coming from. You have to take full badass personal responsibility for yourself and for your actions if you ever truly want to make real change in your life. You won't make groundbreaking changes in your eating or in your weight. You won't be able to lose weight and keep it off if you are living in a victim mentality where it's everyone else's fault. So you have to shore up and accept that the results that you have are of your own doing. And that does not mean that you should be beating yourself up about it. But when you take responsibility for your own creation, for your own results, now you have the power to make the changes. All right? So getting back to this topic of the cheating on yourself, looking for the instant gratification at night. This is not about beating yourself up either. It's about recognizing, hey, I'm the one in my own driver's seat. If I really do want to get to my goal weight, obviously it's not going to help me to be in baby mentality land where I want what I want and I got to have it now and I'm just going to have it, because it takes me off track. It's not helping me get the weight off. It keeps me in the struggle, and it just hardens a pattern of unhealthy eating. And it's like treading water. Maybe you don't gain weight, but you don't lose it either. And you want to look your best in your jeans, right? You want to get to your healthiest weight, which means that cheating on yourself, going for the instant sugar gratification, going for that instant hit, it's just not going to work. So the big problem here, why I call this a double-edged sword, is because you can't get instant gratification from weight loss. Weight loss is a process, it's a project that occurs over time. You can't go from a size 22 to a size 6 in a snap. You can get an instant gratification hit of sugar and a chemical feel-good hit of sugar in an instant. But the double-edged sword problem here is that instant hit with the sugar, the instant gratification of the comfort food, the instant gratification of diving into that carton of ice cream, it does not help you get to your goal weight over time, because it ends up being not just a one-time occurrence of cheating on yourself, of going off course, but it just leads to a pattern of an excuse. A pattern of an excuse that, oh, well, I did that last night, so let's do it again tonight. I'm speaking from experience. It's too easy that once you get off track, that you stay off track. And then before you know it, another year has gone by and you still haven't gotten to your goal weight. I have been there before. I know what that is like. You know, I first started struggling with this whole topic of eating and weight when I was a skinny little kid. It all started in my mind. I was not overweight. I was 7 years old. It was summertime. I was wearing a pair of little red shorts. I remember sitting down in the front seat of my parents' car, and I looked down at my thighs, and I thought to myself, I'm fat. Why did I think that? Because when you sit down, your thighs spread out, no matter what size you are. And I was just a skinny little kid. But I had people in my life who thought they were fat, and I'd picked up on that. And I looked at my thighs when I sat down, and when they spread out, I thought, I'm fat. That's where all of my problems started. It all started in my mind. And over time, my eating behaviors caught up with my mind. They became a match. And so then I started eating like I'm fat, and then I gained weight. The mind is extremely powerful. It is extremely powerful. Sugar is also very powerful, and it is very addictive. It is very, very addictive. You've got to find other ways of feeling good without the sugar, without that chemical hit. It can be difficult, but it can be done. And heck, most of the exercises that I teach my clients when I coach them, a lot of them have to do with pen and paper. So something that you could do in general right now, you could start journaling instead of giving in to your desire for the instant gratification. Instead of giving in to your desire to cheat on yourself, you could make a commitment to yourself to journal instead. And then after you journal about it, if you're still going to give in to the instant gratification, then that's up to you. That's your choice, but at least you would be doing it consciously. To give your journaling power and structure, go to www.emotionaleatingjournal.com. I have put together a powerful 21-day prompted journal specifically for emotional eaters, so that I will be giving you a special, unique coaching prompt each day for you to journal on. This is so much more powerful than just sitting down with a pen and paper trying to find something to write. So check that out at www.emotionaleatingjournal.com. Back to my suggestion of journaling before you feel the urge to go off track. And then if after you journal, you still are determined to go off track, then at least you're doing that consciously. And this suggestion, you'd want to use this in the case where you're just having such a hard time that it would be better to take this route. It'd be better to do the journaling, to take that step, especially if you use my prompted journal that I was just telling you about at emotionaleatingjournal.com. It would be better to take that step of doing that daily journaling. And then if you're going to emotionally eat, overeat, go off track afterwards, then at least you'd be doing that overeating consciously. And if you would just keep at daily journaling, then eventually you'll have a breakthrough. But if you don't do anything and you just keep struggling, you know what I mean? You just stay where you're at and just keep doing the same old thing. How will you ever get new results? So on that suggestion of journaling, and then if you're going to go off track after you journal, now, does that mean that you'll lose weight still if you give into the instant gratification and veer off of your healthy eating plan? You have to change your eating behaviors. You have to change your lifestyle if you're going to actually get to your goal weight. When I talk about your mind and your mindset being 92.8% of the problem, I am not saying that you can just imagine yourself to your goal weight while continuing to eat the way that you eat. No, you have to change your actual eating, exercise, lifestyle behaviors to get that weight off. But what makes it easy to do it, what makes it struggle-free, is when you have your head in the right place first, when you have your thinking in the right place, you have your mindset lined up with your outcome that you want, then it's no struggle. It's no big deal to do the things that you need to do to live a healthy lifestyle, like buying the healthy foods, prepping them, cooking your healthy recipes, portioning out your meals in advance, going for your walks, doing your strength training, anything and everything that is involved in living a healthy lifestyle. It's a struggle-free action when you have your head in the right place. But when your head is in fat land, I'm still speaking from experience. These things that I talk about, I have been there. That's why I can talk about them. So when your mind is fat, that's where you're thinking fat. You're making excuses for yourself. You're bringing yourself down. You are moping around. You're using food for your way to get through life. You are looking at others and criticizing them for being so healthy and fit and hating them for how they are when you're not living the way that they live. You got to come back to yourself, come back to what is in your control, come back to forgiving yourself for any mistakes that you have made up until this point. Forgive yourself for the cheating on yourself. Forgive yourself for your cheating, eating, looking for the instant gratification, living in the baby mentality, wanting what you want right now and eating it right now instead of staying focused on where you want to go. And After you forgive yourself and let the baggage go, then take action to move forward now. Because what you do now is going to determine where you're going to be 6 months from now. You can't wait until 6 months from now to lose weight. If you want to go from a size 22 to a 6, you have to start now. You can't put it off and expect to be there later. It just doesn't happen by magic. One other thing about this instant gratification problem. When you are so easily giving in to the instant gratification, giving in to the cheating eating, giving in to your baby mentality of wanting what you want right now and, doing it instead of sticking with your healthy eating plan that works for you. Another thing about that is that shows that you're more focused on now than you are focused on your end goal. You have to get focused on your end result. So if your end result is the size 6, which one is more important to you? The size 6 has to become more important to you than the little piece of candy that you've got in front of you right now. Because if the little piece of candy in front of you right now is more important to you than the size 6, then guess what you're going to do? You know what's really neat is that there are ways to reprogram your brain relatively quickly so that size 6 is more important to you than the candy. And this is something that I can do with my weight loss coaching clients because we are actually live over the phone in real time when I'm helping them. So we've got a two-way communication going. Here on this podcast, obviously this is a one-way communication. I'm recording this free weight loss podcast for you in my home office recording studio to get some new ideas out to you, to give you some hope, to give you some new ways of looking at this whole weight loss problem that you might not have considered before, because most out there are only looking at the food diet as the solution. And yes, you absolutely have to change your eating. You absolutely do. You've got to change what you're eating, how much you're eating. You've got to change your lifestyle. But if you don't change your mind also, if you don't address the root of the problem, then what ends up happening? You can only get so far. You can get some of that weight off. You might even get all the way to your goal weight, but then what happens? You boomerang back. How many times have you lost the weight and then gained it back? How many times have you been at your goal weight, but then you gained it all back? You won't gain it back if on the inside you are a match to the body that you're in. If you are thin on the inside and you get thin on the outside, that's a match. But if you stay fat on the inside, fat in your thinking, fat in your self-esteem, fat in your self-image, if you stay fat on the inside, then even if you can get to the thinness on the outside, you have to come back because the inner and the outer always match. Does that make any sense? If that does make sense to you, and if you would love to finally get to the root of this problem and heal it, and if it makes sense to you that the fastest way to do this is with coaching, you got to have a step-by-step system to follow. You've got to have steps to do. You've got to have actions to do. You've got to have training. You have to have coaching. You have to have feedback. You've got to have accountability. There's a lot that goes into it. If you really would love to heal your eating, if you really would love to lose weight for good, then apply for a complimentary weight loss discovery session with me. That's your first step towards ending this struggle. Go to www.discovery-session.com, discovery-session.com, fill out an application, and then let's see if or how I might be able to help you. See if we can get on the phone, talk about this, find out if it might be a mutual good fit for me to help you and your struggles with your eating and your weight, which means we've got to go to the root of it. We've got to go inside. 92.8% of this is in your head, which will determine your emotional state, which will tie into your behaviors. All of this stuff is complex. That's why the food diet is not enough. The food diet is part of it, but 92.8% is all starting right between your own two ears. In the meantime, do your best to stop giving in to your desire for the instant gratification. You can use my tip to journal first whenever you have that desire to cheat on yourself and veer off. Remember, you can get help for your journaling at www.emotionaleatingjournal.com. And like I said, if you want to actually heal this problem at the root, go to www.discovery-session.com, fill out an application there. This is for you if you'd love to stop wondering why you're so smart and successful in all other areas of your life, but you're still struggling in this area of your weight, which seems like it shouldn't be that big of a deal. It seems like it shouldn't be that hard. I'm JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the Inner Self Diet, the diet that you need if you really want to break free and heal the root of your eating and weight problems. I wish you your best life living inside of your ideal body.